There's a moment in 1927 that should terrify you more than any horror movie ever could. A group of scientists gathered in Copenhagen discovered something that shattered everything we thought we knew about reality. They found that particles don't actually exist in a fixed state until someone looks at them. Before observation, they're clouds of maybe. After observation, they snap into definite position. The act of watching doesn't discover where something is. It forces it to choose. Now close your eyes for a second. Open them. Everything you see right now just collapsed into existence because you looked. Your phone screen, the wall in front of you, the sound of traffic outside. Before you paid attention, they existed as probability waves in quantum foam. Your consciousness just made them real. Here's the part nobody wants to admit. Your entire life works this way. You think you're walking through a solid world that exists whether you look at it or not. But quantum physics says otherwise. Every moment, you're collapsing waves of possibility into the experience you call reality. You're not trapped in a predetermined universe. You're the one calling it into form with every single act of awareness. And if that's true, everything changes. Right now, subscribe and hit notifications because what you're about to discover will reorganize how you see every single moment of your existence. The double-slit experiment broke physics, and it should break your understanding of who you are. Scientists shot electrons through two slits in a barrier. When nobody was watching, each electron behaved like a wave passing through both slits simultaneously, creating an interference pattern on the detector screen. Waves do that. They overlap, interact, create ripples. Makes sense. But then, they decided to observe which slit the electron actually went through. The moment they placed a detector to watch, the wave pattern vanished. The electron stopped being a wave and became a particle. It went through one slit or the other, not both. The act of measurement collapsed the wave function into a single definite state. Stop and think about that. The electron didn't secretly choose a path that scientists later discovered. Observation itself forced the electron to pick. Before watching, infinite possibilities. After watching, one actuality. Physicist Niels Bohr said it bluntly: there is no quantum world. There is only an abstract quantum description. It is wrong to think that the task of physics is to find out how nature is. Physics concerns what we can say about nature. Translation: reality doesn't exist independent of observation. What you can say about nature depends entirely on how you look at it. Now bring this into your living room. Your bank account right now exists in superposition. Version 1, where you have enough. Version 2, where you don't. Version 3, where money flows easily. Version 4, where you struggle constantly. All these versions exist as probability waves in the quantum field until you collapse one through your state of consciousness. You say, "I never have enough money." Boom. Wave function collapses. Reality crystallizes around scarcity, not because the universe is punishing you, because observation creates outcome. Neville Goddard understood this without ever setting foot in a physics lab. He taught that consciousness is the only reality. Your inner state isn't reacting to circumstances. Your inner state is generating circumstances. He said, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, not because positive thinking works, because the feeling is the frequency that collapses specific probability waves into manifest experience. Two people look at the same job posting. Person 1 sees it through the lens of "I never get picked." Their consciousness collapses a reality where they don't get called back. Person 2 sees it through the lens of opportunities find me. Their consciousness collapses a reality where the phone rings. Same job posting, different observer states, different collapsed realities. You think you're remembering the past right now. You're not. You're constructing it in present moment. Neuroscience shows that every time you recall a memory, your brain rebuilds it from scratch using current information and emotional states. Memories aren't video files stored in permanent archives. They're fluid reconstructions that change based on who you are now. Dr. Elizabeth Loftus proved this with decades of research. She showed people can develop completely false memories that feel utterly real. Not because they're lying, because memory is creative, not reproductive. You're making up the past in real time. And quantum physics suggests something even wilder. The delayed choice experiment shows that decisions made in the present can affect what happened in the past. John Wheeler designed experiments where the choice to observe a photon after it passed through a barrier determined whether it behaved as wave or particle during its journey. The present observation reaches backward and determines past behavior. Your past isn't fixed. It's collapsing right now based on how you're observing it in this moment. Think about a painful memory, maybe a betrayal, a failure, a humiliation. Every time you revisit that memory, you're not replaying an old recording. You're collapsing that quantum event again in present time. And here's the liberation. You can stop collapsing it. You can let it dissolve back into the field of probability, where it becomes just one possible version among infinite others. The person who hurt you exists in superposition right now. Version 1, where they're a villain in your story. Version 2, where they were struggling and made mistakes. Version 3, where the whole thing was a catalyst for your growth. You choose which version to collapse through the lens you look with today. Robert Adams used to say, "You're dreaming right now." This moment is a waking dream, and in the dream, tigers can bite and it will hurt. You have to play your role. But love scenes play out. The screen doesn't feel pleasure. Horror unfolds. The screen remains unchanged. It allows all images to appear without being affected by any of them. You are that screen. Pure awareness, silent presence. The character in your life movie is experiencing everything. Aging, illness, success, failure, love, loss. That's the movie content. But you, the witnessing consciousness, remain untouched, unchanging, eternal. Adams would say, pain is of the body. Suffering is of the mind. Neither one is you. You are the awareness in which both appear and disappear. But here's where people get confused. They think awakening means the character stops experiencing pain. It doesn't. The character still feels everything characters feel. The shift happens when you stop believing you are the character. Two people get the same diagnosis. Person 1 identifies as the character. I have cancer. I'm sick. I'm scared. I might die. Every thought reinforces identification with the body-mind. Suffering multiplies. Person 2 recognizes themselves as awareness. The body received a diagnosis. Pain might come. Treatment will happen. But internally, there's space around it. The awareness watching doesn't have cancer. The awareness can't get sick. The awareness has no birth and no death. Actions get taken. Emotions arise. But the sufferer disappears. That's what Adams meant by playing your role without forgetting you're in a dream. The character goes to the doctor, takes medicine, makes decisions, but you remain as the awareness that can't be touched by any of it. This isn't bypassing. This isn't denial. This is the most direct relationship with reality possible. You deal with everything life presents, but you stop adding layers of psychological suffering on top of inevitable pain. Let's get practical. You're sitting in traffic, late for a meeting. The character starts narrating. "This is terrible. I'm always late. My boss will be angry. I should have left earlier. Why does this always happen to me?" That narrative isn't describing reality. It's collapsing a reality of victimhood and chaos. Same traffic jam, different observer state. Awareness simply notices. Stuck in traffic. Late. Can't change it now. Call and inform. Breathe. The action is the same. The phone call happens, but internally, there's no story, no drama, no collapse into suffering. The traffic jam exists in both scenarios. But in the first, you collapsed a reality where you're a victim of circumstances. In the second, you collapsed a reality where your presence, responding to what is. Different observer, different collapsed reality, same external situation. This is why two people can live through identical circumstances and have completely different experiences. Not because one is lucky and one isn't, because they're collapsing different realities through different states of consciousness. The field doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. Here's what quantum physics won't tell you in textbooks, but mystics have known forever. You're not just observing reality, you're tuning into specific frequencies of it. Think of reality like a radio dial. Every station already exists, broadcasting simultaneously. Rock, jazz, classical, news, talk shows, all transmitting right now through the air around you. You don't create the stations by wanting them. You access them by matching their frequency. Your life works exactly this way. There are infinite versions of your life existing right now as probability waves in the quantum field. Version where you're abundant. Version where you struggle. Version where relationships flow. Version where they create friction. All broadcasting simultaneously. You don't manifest these realities from nothing. You tune into the frequency that matches your inner state, and then the wave function collapses into that specific experience. Person vibrating at frequency of lack constantly collapses situations that confirm lack. Not because the universe is against them, because that's the station they're tuned to. They see the job posting, but feel, "I probably won't get it." They meet someone interesting, but think, "People like that don't choose people like me." They have an opportunity, but expect, "This will probably fall through like everything else." Each one of those thoughts is an act of observation that collapses probability waves into matching outcomes. Person vibrating at frequency of sufficiency collapses different realities from the same quantum field. Same job posting, but they observe it through lens of "let me see if this fits." Same interesting person, but they observe through "I wonder where this connection leads." Same opportunity, but they observe through "I'm curious how this unfolds." Notice the difference isn't in external circumstances, it's in the observer's internal frequency, and that frequency determines which probability waves collapse into tangible form. This is why affirmations often fail. You can repeat "I am wealthy" 10,000 times while internally vibrating poverty consciousness. The words don't matter. The state matters. The field reads your frequency, not your statements. Neville Goddard nailed this. He didn't teach positive thinking. He taught state embodiment. Feel the reality you want as already true, not as future hope, as present fact. Because the feeling is the frequency, and frequency determines which quantum possibilities materialize. But here's the part that makes this practical instead of abstract. You don't need to hold the feeling 24 hours a day. You need to return to it again and again. Every time you notice you've drifted into old frequency, you gently tune back. It's like building muscle. You don't go to the gym once and stay strong forever. You return, repeatedly. Each return builds capacity. Eventually, the new frequency becomes default. Same with consciousness. You'll forget you're the screen 100 times today. The movie will grab you. The character will seem so real. Old patterns will activate. That's normal. Your practice isn't perfection. Your practice is the gentle return. And here's the most powerful practice that exists. Throughout your day, whenever you remember, ask one question. Who is aware of this? Feeling anxious? Who is aware of this anxiety? Paying a bill? Who is aware of this action? Feeling joy? Who is aware of this joy? Experiencing peace? Who is aware of this peace? Don't look for an answer in words. Don't turn this into intellectual concept. Simply rest in the silent presence that is aware. The consciousness itself. The screen behind all movies. You'll notice something extraordinary when you do this. The thing you were identified with starts to have space around it. You're no longer anxiety. Your awareness of anxiety. You're not the bill payer. Your awareness of bill paying happening. You're not even the joy. You're the space in which joy appears. And in that space, you're free. Free doesn't mean the character stops experiencing things. Free means you stop collapsing your identity into the character's experiences. The waves still rise and fall, but you recognize yourself as the ocean, not the wave. Let's get specific with money, since that's where people struggle most. You look at your bank account, see a number lower than you want. Immediately, the character activates. Not enough, need more, feeling stressed. How will I pay for everything? That state is a frequency, and that frequency is collapsing more situations of not enough from the quantum field. You've just observed your finances through the lens of scarcity. Wave function collapses to match. Different approach. Same low number in the account. But you observe it as awareness. Current number is X. More is preferred. What actions make sense from here? Notice the difference. No story, no identity collapse, just clear observation and response. From that state, you might notice an opportunity you would have missed while vibrating panic. You might have a conversation that opens a door. You might make a decision that shifts trajectory. Not because you manifested money through wishful thinking, because you stayed in a frequency where you can perceive and collapse possibilities that were always there. Same quantum field, different observer state, different collapsed outcomes. This applies to everything. Health. You feel pain in your body. Character immediately creates narrative. Something's wrong. I'm getting old. I'm falling apart. This is going to get worse. That observation collapses more sensations of wrongness. The body responds to the frequency you're broadcasting. Alternative. Same pain. Awareness observes. Sensation present. Attention needed. What does the body require? You schedule a doctor visit. You adjust your routine. You care for what needs caring. But you don't collapse your identity into sick person. You remain as awareness, responding to body signals. The body might need real intervention. Get the intervention. Take the medicine. Do the treatment. But do it from presence, not from identification with disease. Because the state you do it from affects how the body receives it. Relationships. Someone says something that triggers you. Character mode. They always do this. I'm not respected. This relationship is toxic. I should leave. Or maybe I should fight back. Each thought collapses more conflict from the field of possibility. Awareness mode. Triggered feeling arose. Old pattern activated. What's actually happening versus what story am I adding? From there, you might set a boundary clearly. You might have a conversation. You might decide the relationship, and when that changes, what you're able to perceive and collapse from the quantum field shifts entirely. This is the secret nobody teaches. The world isn't solid. It's responsive, fluid, waiting for your observation to give it shape. Every moment is a new collapse. Every moment is a fresh choice of what frequency to broadcast. You've been taught that past determines future. Quantum physics says otherwise. The observer in the present collapses both past and future from infinite possibilities. You're not imprisoned by what happened yesterday. You're continuously choosing which version of yesterday to keep collapsing today. Stop telling the same old story and watch how fast your reality reorganizes. Not because you're in denial, because you've stopped using your observation power to recreate patterns that don't serve you. The most radical thing you can do is live like reality is fresh every single moment, because it is. The quantum field doesn't care about your history. It responds to your frequency right now. And when you really get this, when you feel it in your bones, not just understand it in your head, everything shifts. The solid world you thought was trapping you reveals itself as probability waves waiting for your choice. The past you thought defined you dissolves back into the field. The future you thought was predetermined opens into infinite branching paths. You are not a character imprisoned in a pre-written story. You are the consciousness collapsing the story into form, moment by moment. And the moment you remember that, the prison dissolves. Not because external circumstances magically transform, but because you stop experiencing yourself as trapped by them. The bills still come. The body still ages. Challenges still appear. But you meet all of it from a completely different place. Not as victim, not as character fighting for survival, but as awareness itself, playing in the dream while knowing it's a dream. Robert Adams said it perfectly. You don't need to escape the world. You need to remember you're not in it the way you think you are. You're the space where the world appears, and space can never be damaged by what appears within it. If you made it this far, drop a comment. I am the observer. Let me see how many people actually absorb this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now. Hit notifications, because every video on this channel reveals how consciousness, quantum fields, and reality weave together with every choice you make. There's another video appearing on your screen right now that takes this even deeper. Click it and keep exploring this universe that only exists because you're looking at it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.